We're now a little bit further into our geometry unit, and I just want to remind you of a few things before we hone in on triangles today. We've talked about some different shapes in the last couple of videos, and I just wanted to remind you of a couple of things and then share something that I think is new for you. So if the shape is a triangle, it has three sides. And what I want you to understand about that today is that the interior angles of a triangle always add up to 180 degrees. So you can see where I've marked these interior angles, and if you were given those numbers to add up, they should always add up to 180 degrees. If you are doing a problem and it adds up to 182 degrees, or 175 degrees, or 200 degrees, you've done something wrong, because the angles must always add up to 180 degrees. On a quadrilateral, the shape has four sides. That would be like a square, or a rectangle, or a rhombus, something like that. The interior sum of their angles is 360 degrees. So I've marked again where we see their angles, and all four of those angles add up to 360 degrees. A pentagon has five sides. The sum of its interior angles is 540 degrees. Kind of looks like a house, and you can see where I've marked those angles off. And the pattern continues. A hexagon has six sides, and the sum of its interior angles is 720 degrees. A heptagon has seven sides, and the sum of its interior angles is 900 degrees. And the process that this that follows is that for every new side that's added, you add 180 degrees. And we'll look at some formulas for that later on, but so the next one would be 8, an octagon with 8 sides, and you would add 180, and so that would be 1080 degrees. Is what that would equal. So I just want you to know that, because you are going to be asked to solve some problems and know what the interior angles add up. Mostly you see this on triangles and squares or quadrilaterals. So I just wanted you to kind of see how that worked, so you'll kind of understand that and get a clearer picture. So now we're going to look at triangles. Triangles can be categorized by their sides or by their angles. If they are categorized by their sides, they have three different names. An equilateral triangle, equa means equal, lateral means side, like if you have a lateral pass in football, it's off to the side, it's not in front of them. So equal sides, and if it's an equilateral triangle, then all three sides are congruent. They're all the same. Remember, congruent means same. And if it's an isosceles triangle, then there are two congruent sides. And I've written over here, if this was 6 centimeters and 6 centimeters and 3 centimeters. Because two sides are congruent, it is an isosceles triangle. And if it's an odd-shaped, what I think of as an odd-shaped triangle, where there are no congruent sides, it's called a scalene triangle. And I tried to just let you get the idea that none of those sides would have the same measurement on that triangle that I drew there. So these are triangles that are determined, their names are determined by their sides. Equilateral, isosceles, scalene. You can also categorize a triangle by its angles. So they have a little bit different name. If the triangle has a right angle, which is 90 degrees, it's called a right triangle. That one's kind of easy to remember. Has a right angle, it's called a right triangle. You usually see the symbol, if it's a right angle, you usually see like a little dots that kind of form square altogether. It looks like this. I've drawn that out for you. But that shows you that it's a right angle. If the triangle, the interior angles are all less than 90 degrees, if they all have acute angles, then it's called an acute triangle. With all three, I said all three sides, that's really wrong. All three angles are acute, less than 90, then it's an acute triangle. And if the triangle has an obtuse angle, which is greater than 90, then it's an obtuse triangle. And I've drawn that out here where you have one interior angle that's 35 degrees, one that's 25 degrees, and this last one is 120 degrees. So because one angle is greater than 90, it's an obtuse angle, it becomes an obtuse triangle. So I just want you to see those two different ways to categorize triangles. You can categorize them either by their angle or by their sides.